Hello dear friends, this is Grandma Jeannie. Welcome back to my workshop. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make one of these tiny little miniature tea cone houses. Now this house, the original large one, was made by Tea Cone in 1948, and I have replicated it by taking pictures of the walls and then putting them on a Word document, making them small, arranging them so they could be engineered into this little house. I'm going to show you how you can make one. Here are the things that you'll need. First of all, you'll need the printout from me. You'll need some wide packing tape, a pair of scissors. I use some stiff, this is metal roof flashing. In lieu of this, you could use something like a stiff lid from like a package of yogurt, kind of stiff plastic, or maybe a lid from like cottage cheese, or even maybe just something like cardstock would work. Just a little bit to give a little bit of stiffening to these. I also like to use a couple of markers. I've got a light blue one and I've got a red one. And I'll show you how you use those. Maybe you won't feel like you need them. I like to use this glue, Beacon 3-in-1. To me, it works the best. You could use any tacky glue, but I've used this and I think it works the best of the ones I've tried. A few additional things you might use. I've got some red paper. This is just paper I've colored with a red marker. I like to line the chimney with that. I have a couple of little squares of like gold paper. This came from an envelope, but you could use any small squares. I'll show you how you use those and you can decide if you'd like that or not. And a toothpick to help you glue. This isn't particularly difficult to make, but it is a little tedious. It requires some dexterity, and I would say you'd need to be an intermediate crafter or maybe even an experienced crafter to be happy with your results with this. You would start with a printout that I do have available, so contact me if you're interested, and it has all of these pieces printed on it. So this is the front of the house, the floors, these are the little walls, and then this one has the roof, and it has two chimneys. I always send an extra one because they're little and you might lose one. That way you would still have a spare if you lose one. The very first thing I do is I use tape like this, wrapping tape or mailing tape, wide tape, and I cover the parts that will be on the external part of the house. So that would be, I do this whole piece, and then I do this, which is the upstairs side of the house, and then I cover each piece of the roof with it and the chimney. So these have already been done. You probably can't tell, but these have already been covered with that tape, and that's just for durability and to keep people's fingerprints from damaging the little house. Cut all your pieces out. Some of these have little tabs that you'll want to cut around. You don't have to cut those super neat, but you do want to use those. They will give stability to your house as you glue it together. Here are the pieces all cut out for you, and I've even got my 3 little pieces of metal flashing here too that I'm going to use for stability. We're going to start with the outside of the house, which is this long one, and then the next piece we'll probably use is, this is the first floor. It's got a red floor for the kitchen. So we'll start with these. I'm going to start by folding these 3 tabs down. Now I'll fold the first floor into shape. So you're going to fold it right across here, and then each of these 3 tabs you'll also fold. It should look like this now. You will want minimal white showing, especially along this crack here, because otherwise you have a possibility of that white showing when your house is put together. We're going to glue the floor shut now. This glue, normally it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You just put a little bit on there. It just needs enough to kind of hold those papers in place. We're just going to put it on those bigger sections of the floor. And then I'm going to pop in there, before I squeeze it shut, I'm going to pop in there my piece of my metal flashing. Now this metal flashing is maybe a half inch wide, and maybe less than 3 inches long. And mine is brown on one side and white on the other. I want the white to be up against the colored part of the floor, because one time I did it and I thought that brown kind of showed through. So you want it be like this, the colored part, and then when you look here you'll see the brown. So if it shows through, it would show through on the bottom. Then I'm going to put a little more extra glue on the top of that flashing, just to make sure it adheres good. And then press it tight together, keeping your flaps out. That flashing helps give stability, so when people hold that house and go like this, they wouldn't tend to squish it shut. Now, as I said, these are pretty much precision sized, but I always dry fit to make sure. So this floor should fit between this fold here and this fold over here. And it looks to me like that's going to be a pretty much of an exact fit, which it should be. Now I'm going to lift this flap up and I'm going to put glue on the back of that flap. Then I'm going to glue it on here between those folds and line it up on the bottom. I actually will fold it shut like that and then glue that flap on there only. And try not to get excess glue. You don't want to get glue on your color part here if possible. Next, we're going to fold up these end flaps and we're going to, it should be a good fit, bring those in and glue those walls with those flaps inside like that, and also put glue on this back flap and glue it against the back wall. As you do, try to make sure you don't have white showing along here if possible, and again along here. I forgot to tell you one spot that it's a little more important to put glue is here along the top of this piece and this piece. On here you can see the railing. Sometimes otherwise you get a little gap there, and you can tell that it's been glued. So I like to put a little extra glue right along that top seam on both of those pieces. The rest of it just needs a little bit of glue here and there spread around, a little bit on that flap, a little bit in the middle, a little bit on these flaps, and then fold that in. But you'll want a nice pretty tight seam there here along the top of that. Now we're ready to use these little pieces of envelope that I cut out, and I'll show you where I put them. And you might not think you need this, and you might not, but as I looked at them carefully, I'm like, well, I wish that I had something in there. So you're going to glue these I'll show you right where the walls are going to go, and one wall will go right here between the red and this wooden part, and the other one will go between this wooden part and the green part. But you're going to glue them up here. And the reason is, as you glue those walls in up above, on some of my earlier ones, I felt like there was a little separation in the paper, and you could see the white background, and I didn't like that. So I like to put these in there. Probably not required. Some houses, I feel like it showed more than others. Some of them I felt like it didn't show at all. But to be safe, I put it in there. Look, it's shaping up already. We're going to put in the downstairs walls now. In order to do this, first we're going to cut these doors out, and I like to just cut here and here and then fold that white flap up, and here and then fold that white flap up, here and here and here and here. Then when I fold that flap up, I will glue that down, and that gives a little stability. Otherwise you have just a little tiny spot of paper here holding that. So for strength, that's what I do. Also, that's what these tabs are for. I'm going to fold these white tabs down and glue those down. That will also give stability to that little area that's kind of thin paper. Really, once the house is made, there's really no extra wear and tear on those areas, but I don't know. It just made me feel comfortable to do that. So I'm going to cut those. I'm going to glue these little white flaps down. I'm going to cut those doors out, fold them up, and then glue those down also. Sometimes to get that glue to set up good, I hold it in place for maybe 10 seconds. So I'm holding down all those 4 little white flaps, just maybe 10 seconds, so it will start to adhere very well. Where those little white tabs stick up here from above those doors, I'm just going to snip those off. We don't need those, and we've already added our stability to the door. Okay, now we're going to fold this into shape. We're going to start by this fold right here between the kitchen and the dining room, and fold it so that your doors will now line up. because this little house has got little tiny doors there at the back of the kitchen going into the dining room, and at the back of the dining room going into the living room. And always line your floor up. That's going to be critical to have that lined up. The top's not as critical. Then we're going to bend this kitchen wall forward, and again line up the floor so it's straight along this edge. Then our next fold is going to be to line up this door and this door. So fold right there at that dining room wall. Line up the floors. Give it a nice pinch. It should look something like this. We're going to glue now between these two walls in this pinch, and be sure to put a little glue above the door, and then this pinch too between the dining room and living room, and be sure to put a little glue above the doors, and then pinch those until they are sealed. Now we're going to do a dry fit and make sure these walls are right. Now these are pretty precision made. You may not need to do much adjustment. On mine, which is kind of common, sometimes I cut just a little bit off of this dining room wall to keep that from bowing. So just a little bit between the curtain and the edge of the wall. I might cut off about half of that space off, so not very much, just a little sliver, so it'll fit in there tight. I think that's about right. Now when I dry fitted, I could see just a little bit of white sticking up right here, so I put a little bit of green marker there at the top. Be careful with that marker. Depending on what marker you use, it will soak through your paper. So if you're coloring down here with green, it might soak through to the front and spoil your print. But being up here on the top and it was going to come over here to the dark, I thought that was okay. Once you're comfortable with that, you're going to glue it in. As you glue it in, make sure you keep this wall pushed down to minimize that white gap there at the bottom of the floor, especially here in the living room. You tend to see that. The rest of the floors seem to be pretty not so difficult. And now you might be able to tell barely why I put that gold paper back there or that brown paper, because sometimes right here in these doors you can just see a little sliver. Right now you can see a little sliver of light through there. Well, that white background showed through. That's why I put those pieces there. So I'm just going to put glue on the back of here and stick that in. Now we're going to glue these walls in place, glue them to the floor. To do that, I just run a line of glue right here where that door is going to start, back here, and bring it forward almost to the edge, just a little bead of glue. And same thing over here, right where that wood joins that green carpet. Just bring a bead of glue forward. Then I'll slide those walls into place and hold them there for about 10 seconds until they stay. You can line them up and make sure that you don't have the wood floor showing on this side of the wall. You want that lined up nice and square like that. If that glue kind of beads up a little bit and you can see it, I wouldn't worry about it. That will dry clear. But if you're concerned about it, you can take your toothpick and just run it along that seam, and it'll kind of knock down some of those that bubble up a little bit. I'm pretty happy with that. Now we're going to take the upstairs floor, fold it in half, fold this tab up, and glue it shut, and insert the piece of flashing in there like we did before. Be sure to put the white side up so that you don't have any brown showing through. I also like to slide this forward close to the fold. All right, it's time to dry fit this in here, which I've already done. This is going to be the upstairs floor, so make sure it'll fit in there about right. It should. They're pretty precision made. Now we're going to glue this, and it's just a little trickier because you've got a couple spots you need to try to hold, and I'll show you if it doesn't hold the way you want. I'll show you how you can fix that. But here's where you're going to glue. You're going to glue the back of this flap, and you're going to glue along the patio edge, and here along the nursery edge, and also glue on the top of these two downstairs floors. And then when you put that in there, you're going to try to hold it this way and to hold it this way So it will seal back there, and then also kind of hold it down. So it takes several fingers to hold that in place. If we need to fix it and correct it, we will. Mine came out really good. So here's the things to watch for. First of all, be sure you press this tab back so you have that tight against the back wall. You want your floor to be level, so I try to line it up over here on this side. Does it look right? And then over here on the nursery wall, I try to make sure that this line right along there is straight. And then also you want your walls to be straight up and down. Sometimes the top will go one way or the other, and you want that wall to be straight. Now this glue works good in that it gives you a minute or two, I mean not a minute, it gives you 10 or 15 or 20 seconds to make those adjustments, and make sure it did bind there at the back as well as at the sides. What I've had happen in the past is for some reason the glue along this line sometimes doesn't attach right, and sometimes over here it doesn't. It'll like not, not glue. So how I fix that, and this one I don't need to do it, but I just stick the tip of my glue back up in there and run a bead of glue there again along the top, and then hold it again tight until it will adhere. So I'm talking about the seam right here at the top of the ceiling in the living room, and at the top of the ceiling here in the kitchen where it attaches to the floor. Sometimes that seam doesn't dry right, and I have to put another bead of glue. Again, don't worry about that bead of glue. It will dry clear and it won't show. And if you want to smooth it out, just run your toothpick along it and smooth it out a little bit after you put another bead of glue in there. The upstairs walls come in two pieces. You've got this, which is the back part of the wall and side, and then this, which is actually the little blue bathroom. So to start, you're going to bend this side wall. This is the outside of the upstairs. Bend that back, and then there's a seam here. You're going to bend that forward. Make those seams nice. Dry fit it. It should fit in there like this. It should be the right size and shape. If not, trim it off one end or the other a little bit. I think mine is right. This wall will come there along the patio, and this will go across the back. Let me just double check. Yeah, so we're good. So now I'm going to put glue in between here. Well, I'm going to bend this down. I'm not going to bend it flat. I'm going to bend it curved. This will eventually go inside the roof, under the roof. So I like to curve it a little bit, bring it forward. Then I'm going to put glue in here and pinch it shut, but when I do, I'm going to stick it in here and get that tab in there, put a little glue on that tab, and also glue across the back, and then it will glue across the back like that, and then this will fold forward.